She did speak today. She spoke to the media, explaining some of the things that she has been accused of and saying that she has to fly first class because she has a medical condition. We shall get into that. And in studio tonight to just help us get this discussion on is Peter Imotoku, who is the minority leader in the Nairobi County Assembly. I'm also joined in studio tonight by the man who moved the motion to impeach the Nairobi Speaker, Beatrice Elachi. That is Waithaka Ward MCA Anthony Kiragu will be joining us live from our city center studios. The two gentlemen will be joining the debates later on. First, the flames have started to reach the governor's office, and our lead reporter, Sophia Nuna, spoke to the Nairobi County Governor, Mike Sonko. Listen.
So what a chaotic day it has been today in City Hall. A standoff inside the Speaker's office. Beatrice Elachi, remember there was that impeachment passed by 103 members of the County Assembly here in Nairobi County. However, the Speaker managing to get a suspension of the same pending hearing of the issues that they have raised against her. So rowdy, chaotic, dishonorable scenes that Kenyans witnessed playing out for at least over an hour inside the Speaker's office. As she maintained she was not leaving, but the members of the County Assembly said she is no longer a Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly. But now I want to speak to the man who's charged with the governance in Nairobi City Council. That's the Governor, Mike Sonko. Thank you very much for making time for us. I wonder what you make of the events. Truly dishonorable to see things disintegrate to the extent that they did earlier today with that impeachment motion, but the acts of pushing and shoving, we hear there was pepper spray thrown at some of the members. What do you make of that?
Actually, whatever transpired at the Nairobi County Assembly, especially the Speaker offices, I was not present. So at the moment I cannot comment on that. But I think we've already commenced. Investigations are ongoing. We've got our own CID who are present. The head of the police was present. So for now, I cannot comment on that. Whatever is being highlighted, I can say they're just allegations, and the process is very clear. Everything is subjected to investigations until the outcome of those particular investigations. Then we can act on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You talk about everything subjected to investigation, and people are reading a witch hunt. In fact, the Speaker herself has spoken to this in the sense that the members of the County Assembly amended standing orders that, give 3-day notice of an impeachment motion and then an ad hoc committee to be formed to investigate and also give a hearing. All this did not happen in this instant. It was rushed. Doesn't that to you read some ill motive, perhaps?
Sophie, maybe on the standing orders, I'm not conversant with the County Assembly's standing order, but the members of the County Assembly, they have the powers of even impeaching the governor under Article 181 of the Constitution. Maybe I'm also sailing the same boat where Speaker Beatrice Elachi is sailing. Just the other day you heard I was even given 14 days notice to either appoint deputy governor. So even I don't know my fate after the expiry of these 14 days notice. You don't know, maybe I'll be the next victim. But MCAs under Article 178 of the Constitution and Section 11 of the County Government Act, they've got the powers of impeaching the Speaker. And Article 181, they have got the powers of impeaching myself as the governor of Nairobi. Yeah. They also have the powers of impeaching the any of the executive member, provided he has breached the Constitution. Maybe he's complicated or he's been complicated in any corruption-related cases, and provided they have sufficient reasons. So that one I leave it to them. They have got their own legislative powers of impeaching the Speaker, impeaching the governor, impeaching any executive member. Yes. For now, if I comment on that, I'll be interfering with the work. So me, I'm just neutral. I don't want to interfere with this thing. And the matter of impeachment we have had is before the court, and it will also be sub judice. I have to respect the courts. It will be sub judice for me to discuss or to comment on this matter which is pending before the High Court. And but the MCAs have the right of impeaching the governor, any executive member, even the Speaker herself. She can be impeached.
She can be. We're not getting into the merits or demerits, what the issues they've raised are, but perhaps the concern is that they would amend and change the law to allow them to do this faster than the standing orders stipulate in the county assembly, so that rush, that almost, it has to all be done today. It's within their rights, but does that for you speak of ill motives is perhaps the concern?
But I think I have to repeat myself here. The Constitution supersedes the standing orders. The County Government Act is the part of the law which govern the county, running the county affairs. They all supersede the standing orders. So I don't want to interfere on that. I don't want to interfere with the work of the MCAs. But if the Speaker has just been impeached, let us follow the due process of the law. We follow the law instead of chasing her out, fighting her, mishandling her. That is wrong. Yeah. But they have the powers of impeaching the Speaker.
What do you make of her being Speaker and her service in the past 1 year or so, in terms of how she's gone about conducting her duties? You being the governor and observing the functioning of the county assembly, how would you rate her performance?
No, she used to be a good, can say she was a good Speaker. I used to be together with her in the Senate. She was the majority chief whip of the Senate. I was her deputy. So I've never had differences with her. But here is a case whereby 122 MCAs mandated by the Constitution, people who have been elected, representatives of the people on the ground, who have come up with this idea. I don't sit in the county assembly, so I don't know what mistakes she's committed. But I think in the impeachment motion, reasons for her impeachment, the reasons for her impeachment have been highlighted by the honourable MCA. So I don't want to interfere with that at this stage. It would be premature for me to interfere with that. So we will investigate whether the reasons are sufficient. Then I'll do a further statement after following the due process of the impeachment.
To those who read your hand in her misfortunes, who say that perhaps this is well choreographed, as you say, you don't want to speak of it, you want to leave it to the county assembly members, but you could be behind that, because there are those who have opined, in the absence of a deputy governor, if you are impeached, for instance, today, or were unable to hold office, she would be the next beneficiary. No,
that's totally untrue. That's not correct. I don't have a hand in that, and I've said I don't sit in the county assembly. But we all know all the county governments are composed of the county assemblies and the county executives. I'm the head. But you see, as maybe we go for we amend our constitution, but our powers are limited as governors. We cannot go and interfere with the daily running of the county assembly. They are somehow independent, and their head is the Speaker, although I'm the overall boss of the county. But I don't have the powers of stopping what they discuss in the floor of the House or the floor of the Assembly. They also discuss so many things, the budget, they form the laws, the county laws. So that is their independent powers. They've been mandated by the Constitution.
Your hand is not in this?
My hand is not in this.
There's a comment she made that has elicited quite some debate online, that she needed to travel first class because of a condition she suffers from. Are you aware of this?
I'm not aware of that. Those are private issues. I don't follow how members travel, how the Speaker travels. That's none of my business.
Okay. Let's come back to the county itself. And also, you said you could be in the same boat, facing the same fate of impeachment. What concerns, in your view, do your members of the county assembly have with your leadership?
No, from the motion, the same day they impeached the Speaker, I followed the proceedings of the House that day. There are some issues which they've raised. Number one is to appoint a deputy governor within 14 days. And I've told you I don't know what is my fate after the 14 days. And secondly, they are saying I just like sending home my staff member, the executive members. They want me to reinstate some of the staff we had suspended on various cases. Some of the cases which are pending investigation, some of which are pending in court. So I'll never give up. I'll continue fighting corruption. And if I may say, I will not reinstate those those officials or officers implicated in corruption cases. I remember case number one, the chief cashier, during my first days in office, I did an impromptu check. I went to the cash office. I found one of the cashiers with 7 million in his socks, underwears, all over. He had money all over. He was arrested, charged in court. Then they went to court. There were around 7 officers who were charged. They went to court via the petition number 79 of 2017. They got a stay. So we pursued the case. The case was concluded. It was dismissed a couple of weeks ago. And I was given the powers because the case was heard by Justice, I think, Helen Wasilwa. Right. And I was given the powers of dismissing them, interdicting them, and they were even supposed to proceed with the criminal charges which were there. Okay. And I'm shocked even up to now the DCA has never proceeded with this case. So we are appealing for this case to proceed. Yeah. And my stand is firm. I will never insert this corrupt mentioned officers in these corruption cases. These officers who are implicated, I'll never insert them. The issue of deputy governor, I did my part by appointing, nominating Miguna. I forwarded the name to the speaker, who was just been impeached, and the name was rejected. And this advisory opinion, I think it was a case concerning Nyeri County government. And you see the Supreme Court is silent about the nomination of a county government. In case you forward a name to the county assembly, the same is rejected. What is next?
Isn't it to go back and bring another nominee, because you are not bound by that advisory as to just nominating one. I believe it was open to the extent, and some analysts have argued, that if one is rejected, then you can bring another. So why not bring another nomination? I'm
in the process of doing that. Just the other day I mentioned 4 names. That is Agnes Kagure, Margaret Wanjiru, Karen Nyamu, Jen Weru, and I'm consulting the party leadership. I'm a Jubilee governor, I've said this before. So I just want...
But you didn't consult the party on Miguna. They criticized you for that. So why are you looking to consult them on this one?
That time I was under a lot of pressure, and I don't want to go back to that. I was under a lot of pressure from so many people from the government, so I had to nominate Muguna out of bitterness, anger. But this time I've given 4 names. They're all women, and I'll nominate deputy governor very soon and forward the name to the county assembly. But I don't want to do it under pressure. I'm still doing my intelligence and my research.
So can you tell Kenyans by when? 1 week, 2 weeks?
Kenyans, let them leave me.
Specifically.
Let me work, because I've been working for the last 9 months without a deputy governor, and you saw it just the other day. We were ranked the best performing urban county. So I'll nominate a deputy governor very soon, but I want to do it at my own pace.
Those who say governor doesn't want a deputy.
I don't want to be overpushed. I'll nominate a deputy very soon, but that is God's. God's time is the best. So I don't want to pick a deputy governor, then I end up in. You saw what happened in Kiambu.
Look at Nyeri. They've lost, God rest their souls in peace, governors, but they already have now a deputy governor. That due process happened and ended. Nyeri. But it feels like we're overly stretching the issue of a DG in Nairobi.
Nyeri is a very small county, but Nairobi is a bit complicated.
The decision is with you, Governor, to nominate.
The decision is with me, I agree with you. But again, I have to consult the party leadership, because I'm a Jubilee governor. Yes, I'm not an independent governor to make decisions by myself. I have to consult the party leadership, of which Jubilee, our leader is the president. Okay. We have the deputy president. I have to consult them. Even if I have somebody in my heart, I tell them I want to have this particular woman as my deputy governor, I have to have their blessings as my boss.
You've talked about you've talked about some of those officers that you have let go in your cabinet, in the county government, and this concern around the high turnover. For instance, in the is it a accounting chief? Yes. You've had I think 3 different people, 4 one in acting capacity, take that position. Yes. And your chief of staff as well, you let go. That's a very important office holder, very close to you. Yeah. And so when people see this kind of quote-unquote implosion, they're concerned about the stability of the government.
Not only about my chief of staff, who was my good friend. I want to tell Kenyans, even my own wife or my brother or my own blood messes with the county funds, she'll go in or he'll go in. There are some complaints which were raised. We lost around 1 million. Recently, we recruited casuals to do the beautification program, which is ongoing. The unclogging of drainages around the city, and also cleaning our great city. So in the recruitment, the casuals, I think the supervisors took the list to the county chief of staff. After we got approval from the county public service board, these lists were unwritten when they were brought. But it was the work of the chief of staff and the finance department to ensure that each and every staff has one account. Because I stopped cash transactions in City Hall. I wanted the casuals to be paid direct from the county accounts to their personal accounts. So in the process, we lost money. Some of the casuals opened 7 accounts, others opened 6 accounts. So in the process, we lost money. I'm not saying they are thieves or they stole, but there is an offense we call criminal negligence. So they are supposed to account for that. How did the county lose these funds? Because these funds do not belong to Sonko, they belong to the great people of Nairobi. So we have to account on each and every shilling we receive for development or we collect in terms of revenue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Final question. Again, issues around the governor being based largely in a different county, Machakos, in your Moore Hills home. So are you back now in the capital, the headquarters?
No, these are just shade shows and propaganda. I always go to my office, and I've been telling the media, my critics, that Moore is just 25 minutes drive to Nairobi. Even right now I came here from Moore. So every day I come to the office, I go back to Moore in the evening. I come in the morning, I go to Moore in the evening. So I'll never shift my base. I'll stay in Machakos County and come to Nairobi on a daily basis. Okay. Yes.
Asante sana. We appreciate your time. Nairobi Governor, His Excellency Mike Mbuvi Sonko with us tonight. Back to you.
Thank you, Sophia. Sophia Nuna there, speaking earlier today with Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko on a myriad of issues really touching on the county of Nairobi, the mess that has been the impeachment motion against the Speaker, Beatrice Elachi. Let me bring in my guests finally in this conversation. I have with me, like I told you, Peter Imotoko is the minority leader in the Nairobi County Assembly. I also have nominated member of the County Assembly, Mary Arivitsa, as well as Anthony Kiragu, MCA for Waithaka, who was the mover of that impeachment motion against the Speaker, Beatrice Elachi. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the broadcast tonight. Let me begin with you, Ms. Imotoko. Let's just touch on very quickly that interview with the governor, Mike Mbuvi Sonko. He has remained really very non-committal on the issues. There has been people accusing him of being behind the walls of the Speaker, Beatrice Elachi, using you as the MCAs. He has denied that, obviously. What is your take on this?
Thank you, Kitili. First, let me take this opportunity to say thank you for inviting us to clarify more on the pertinent issues on the impeachment of the Speaker and what the governor has just spoken about. I must agree with the governor that indeed he's not part of this process, because on that particular day, the notice of motion which was premised on the Kenya Gazette were 2 motions. Motions number 1 was to discuss the state of the county, socio-economic, political effect. And motion number 2 was to discuss the status of the county assembly.
Right.
And from the onset, let me put this right, that the Kenya Gazette of a special sitting does not take into consideration agenda for the day. It's only a House Business Committee that now enumerates the agendas of the day. That's why on that day of the impeachment of the Speaker, there were 2 motions. 1, to impeach the Speaker, who is the head of the legislative arm of the county assembly, and also to discuss the conduct of the governor, and more precisely, the way the county executive is operating in Nairobi. And also to correct, and maybe to put into perspective, what was envisaged on the governor's motion were 3 items. Item number 1, we said, subject to the advisory of 9th of March of the Apex Court, the Supreme Court, that the governor has taken too much time to decide in his wisdom who among the 5 million Kenyans is suitable, whether he's a woman or a man. As leaders of Nairobi, we do not care who becomes. But ours was, it is a constitutional right. it's not a favor to Nairobians. And we've always kept on saying as opposition in the House that as Nairobi, under the Constitution, and also the County Government Act Section 32, it speaks the principal assistant of the governor. As the governor well puts it, I like living in Moa, it's okay. In case the governor adores to live in Moa so much, we might have a deputy governor who adores to live in Nairobi.
All right, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
So
you say those are two different issues. You say those are very distinct issues. Let me come to you, Madam Arivita. I mean, Nairobians are asking how much of this drama and issues around City Hall has to do with the issue of the deputy governor of Nairobi, the missing deputy governor, and the issues that have been there of the governor saying that there are people, so powers that be, talking about the national government and his party, Jubilee, of being behind these wars. How much of this has to do with that drama?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm one of the side Nairobians at this time of our history in Nairobi. I've grown up in this city, and for it to be in the mess it is, I'm very sad. One, we were told we were going to have a Kamkunji, and this Kamkunji was going to discuss two issues that already our minority leader, Honorable Imatok, has talked about. The status of Nairobi County Assembly, and also the status of socioeconomic status of, that one is mainly the other side of the arm of the government, where His Excellency Mike Mbuvi is the governor. And when we arrived, I could see the mess started immediately. It's like we were being forced to take sides. And I'm very sad as a woman in this country. I stood up to say it very clearly, and I want to say it on this national TV, that we are not going to bring up a country where when women rise up in leadership position, men using their chauvinistic attitude and approaches want to shut down those women, want to just treat them very disrespectfully. Now, to say the least, I'm not saying that Madam Speaker is necessarily 100. She's not an angel, because none of us is an angel.
Do you believe there are grounds that are sufficient? Do you believe there are sufficient grounds for your colleagues to try and impeach her?
That's what I'm coming to. I'm just saying the due process of making sure that the process is followed so that that person feels like a Kenyan is very important. When we arrived in the Kamkunji, it was already decided by our leaders that we were going to take certain position. And those of us who did not take, it has not gone very well with them. We are threatened, we are mishandled. Today, women who misbehaved apparently were given some beer because they take a little, 2 bottles for the road to go and mishandle Madam Speaker. I am very disappointed as a woman in this country. When I stood on the floor, which I'm now repeating now, we are a country that does not honor and respect its women. Madam Mwilu is being handled. Okay, it is still in the court case, just like this one. But we seem to be hauling out women from position of leadership.
All right, thank you. Let me get the views of Mr. Kirago, who is a mover of this motion. Bwana Kirago, thank you for joining us again on this show. Your motion is already being punched, holes are already being punched into your motion. The Speaker was reinstated, of course, before this by the Labour courts, and then we saw her come back to office today. I tried to give reasons why she doesn't think she was removed procedurally first, and that she did not do anything wrong. And then, do you believe that she's being targeted unfairly?
Maybe to say, but this is my motion, and I did not do it to Elachi, the person. I did it to the Speaker of the County Assembly. Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I did it to Elachi, the Speaker of the Assembly, on matters that I felt that were not going right, and she was not conducting herself in a manner that befits her position. I took my time to do the motion and gather evidence, and I was able to convince 103 out of 107 MCAs who are in that assembly.
Yes.
And those are the ones who voted yes. And those are the people who said Elachi needs to go. Elachi needs to vacate her position. I also don't want us to lose the point that this is the second time in 2 months that we have a motion to impeach the Speaker.
All right.
The grounds are still the same. And we actually halted the other impeachment motion because we gave her an opportunity to redeem herself.
All right, hold on to that thought. Let's take a quick commercial break here on The Big Story. We are back shortly, and when we come back, we shall be trying to get into the nitty-gritties of this drama at City Hall. The Speaker, Beatrice Elachi, being members of the County Assembly, some of them, a group of them, trying to evict her earlier today. There was a lot of drama. We understand she locked herself in the toilet for some time. I mean, what is happening here in Nairobi? We'll get into that. She is saying that she was removed unprocedurally and she has done nothing wrong. We'll get into that when we come back. Don't go too far.